Hey, how's it going everybody? It's Kenan. Today I'm going to be doing a quick review of the Microsoft Surface Pro 3. Just want to give my insight on using it as a student the past around 4, 5, 6 months. So let's get straight into it. Let's not waste any time. So in terms of millimeters, the Surface Pro 3 is 292.1 times 201.4 times 9.1. It is a 12-inch 2160 times 1440 screen. It isn't the brightest screen, but you'll forgive it due to its quality. The screen is really sharp, the colors pop, and just take a look at this footage here. So prior to using the Microsoft Surface Pro 3, I was using a HP 15-inch touchscreen laptop, weighing around 2 kilos. But since this thing weighs only 798 grams, it made such a huge difference. It was so much more light, more versatile, and I'd actually take it to university apart from leaving it at home, being useless. As a consequence of it being so light, as you can see here, there's a small dent on the edge of my Pro 3. So keep that in mind. It's so light that sometimes when it's in your bag, you don't even know it's there. I done goofed it. Another thing I want to mention is that because it's so compact and so thin, this thing overheats, man, especially the right side, including the front and the back, gets quite warm and uncomfortable to hold. Now, complementing the screen, these things have front-facing speakers. They aren't the loudest, but because they do direct the music or the sound coming from your laptop into your ears directly, it just makes using the Surface Pro 3 such a pleasure. It also has two cameras, one on the front and one on the back, both 5 megapixels, capable of 1080p recording. Nothing special here, but you can use it for Skype and video chatting. In terms of ports, you have your inlet for your charger. There's a USB 3.0 port and a mini display port here. There's also a headphone jack here, your volume rocker, your on switch at the top, and also a micro SD slot hidden way at the back of the kickstand. Speaking of the kickstand, this thing is great. It's sturdy. You can actually fold it all the way. See that? So you can have it in a variety of angles for your viewing pleasure. Now moving on to the main event, in my opinion, the stylus. It comes with 3 buttons, one on the top, either to open OneNote, the desktop version, or the Windows version, depending on your choice. There's also 2 buttons on the side for use in OneNote, such as the eraser tool or the lasso tool. Now in terms of weight, it doesn't feel too heavy where it wears out your hands and your fingers, but it feels heavy enough to feel like an actual pen. It's not too light as well, so it feels cheap, so that's great. Now to be honest with you guys, the writing experience and quality I found using this stylus actually blew my mind. I didn't expect such quality and such fluidity, I guess, and how natural it felt to be writing on a screen using a stylus, an electronic pen. It's great also because all my work that I write on the Pro 3 gets saved onto the cloud, so everything is in one place. Now the pen also has pressure sensitivity, and I think this is one of the main reasons why it feels so natural and fluid to write with. Now let's talk about the keyboard, because I think this is where Microsoft really nailed it. The keyboard itself is magnetic and detachable, and you can mount it on either way, no problem. The typing experience is actually not too shabby. It wobbles a bit, but apart from that, it does its job right. It doesn't feel so small that everything's cramped together, or too large where it gets in your way. The keyboard itself is also backlit, and I think there's around 3 or 4 levels of the brightness. The touchpad is alright, I'd say quite average. There's a left click and a right click built into it. Now onto the battery life of the Surface Pro 3. I get around 6 to 7 hours, 7 on a good day. It gets me through university, I guess, for around 1.5 days. So I wish it could be better, but good enough for me. So overall, I think the Surface Pro 3 is great. You can use it as a laptop, you can use it as a tablet. It's thin, it's light, the screen is great, the speakers are front facing, the stylus experience and the keyboard are quite top notch in terms of this form factor. I'm really impressed by what they did. Battery life and the heat sort of let me down, but due to all the positives, it's only such a small negativity about this product. So that was my quick review of the Surface Pro 3 as a student using it for more than half a year already. Thanks for watching guys, and I hope this was informative. Cheers. Don't dance, baby girl, just wait. Let her watch you on that pole, girl. Firefighter, watch you on that pole, girl. Get a split, let her watch you.